meeting with his wife this morning. And he told me, sir, நீங்க இப்போ spirituality பற்றி மாத்திரம் பேசுகிறீங்களா, மெடிசன் பேசுறது இல்லையா அப்படின்னா. சொன்னேன், இல்லை தம்பி, அப்படி ஒன்றும் இல்லை. அவங்க அப்படி சொன்னாங்க. இல்லை உங்கள் ஐடியா என்ன, ஸ்பிரிச்சுவாலிட்டின்னு என்ன ஐடியா, உங்கள் ஐடியா என்ன? So I told him, spirituality has nothing to do with religion or even God or even temple. Spirituality is simply sharing and caring. That is called spirituality in my concept. Sharing and caring. And that's the motto of every human being's life. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Shaivite, Vaishnavite, or whatever sect you are, sharing and caring is what takes mankind forwards. And we must always think about it. While coming, I just made a mention, and one of my friends came down, we discussed a lot about this. I said I had started a LTC, Live to Think Club in the medical school when I was the dean. Because students, they don't think, because thinking is completely stopped these days in school. I was quoting him, actually, what Alexis Carrel, who was a Nobel laureate surgeon. Alexis Carrel wrote in his book, every newborn child is a genius, only to be converted into an idiot in school. Which is absolutely true. Absolutely true. These days, children don't think at all. And if they think, it's a disadvantage. I still remember, I asked my professor in the class a question when I was a student in the medical school in Stanley. We had good teachers, very good teachers, but there were exceptions. This lady got so mad. She said, I'll see that you don't pass the exam. So, but then, then I thought it's worth pursuing this matter further. So anyway, she didn't succeed in failing me, but this is how it is. So I understand how to ask questions. If you ask questions, you become an outstanding student, permanently standing out. Unfortunately, what has happened is, we just try to learn what is known from the textbooks. At least in medicine, I know, when the textbook comes out of the press, it is at least 5 years old. At least. New information pours into the medical field at a rate of 7% per month. 7% per month through 45,000 biomedical journals all over the world. So if you don't keep in touch with the literature for about 6 months, half of what you know is proved wrong. But the problem, as Cicero said, with mankind is, you don't know which half it is. Otherwise, it's okay. Cicero wrote, even during the time, the Roman thinker, half of what mankind knows will be proved wrong in next 5 years' time. But the problem with mankind always will be, he doesn't know which half it is. That's what is happening, especially in medicine. I'll be using a couple of medical terms perforce because I can't help it. So I'll explain those things for the people, non-medical people here. One is called reductionist science. The other one is called holistic science. The third one is science. So these are the three words I want to explain to you. What is your concept of science? Non-scientists here. Anyone, any volunteers? What's your concept of science? Invention is science. Good. Very good, man. Research. Research in enna? Acha. Okay. Good. Good. You got some idea. Very good. Ninga an engineer, eh? Enade? Graduate. Very good. Very good. Very good ideas. Any other thoughts about science? Any other takers? Didactic lectures are so boring. Let's make it a little interactive so that you don't sleep. Good. We will come to evolution. That's a good word you gave. We will come to evolution. Science. Good. Trying to know the unknown. Good. That's good. That's good. I was going to come to that next. I was going to ask you. Because engineering is technology. Technology is something that has really destroyed science today. Because technology is money, and money kills everything. You know that? Did you know that? No. And I'm not in Coimbatore, so Madurai I can speak quite. The first industry started in England in 1802. There was this romantic English poet called William Wordsworth. This called the first industry in England, to be precise, 1802. He wrote a poem, which some of you, at least teachers in English, would have read. called The World is Too Much With Us. Have you read that? Good. Good. For those who have not read, I'll give you 4 first lines and then rest you read because it's very good. You can get it on the internet also. The world is too much with us, late and soon. First line. Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little do we see in nature there is ours. We have sold our soul, he wrote. I added, to the devil. And then, comma, a sordid boon. What a word, sordid boon. It's a curse on us. Money is a curse on us. And when money came, science completely got twisted. Up until then, science probably was trying to understand what is not known. But today it's not that. Repetitive science research. Actually, audits have shown recently that the leading science journals in the world, 98% of research papers, so-called, which probably get billions of dollars in research grant, are repetitive research, dealing in the known area. That is not science. Karl Popper was a great thinker. He was a physicist but became a professor of science philosophy in the London School of Economics in the 50s. He was a colossus. Karl wrote, I quote, knowledge advances not by repeating known things, but by refuting. But by refuting false dogmas in every field. There are a lot of false dogmas in every field, science included in it. Now, for example, we think mathematics is a great science, no? Right? There's no truth in mathematics. It's all assumption. There are only 2 numbers, 1 and 0. 1 divided by 0 is infinity. 0 divided by 1 is 0. Only 2. Rest of them are all assumed. 2 is 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. So, nothing is reality. When it comes to reality, these sciences are far away. And the Western science, for that matter, is totally, if I may say that, quote unquote, fraudulent. There's a beautiful book I recommend because you're all readers club. This book you must read. It's very easy to understand for a non-scientist also. Maybe twice you may have to read. But there, if there are any difficult words, they explain. 2 scientists, professors of physics in New York, have written this book. The book's name is The Golem. The Golem, G-O-L-E-M. Golem enna? What's Golem? Anyway, I'll come to that. Their names are Harry Collins, and Trevor Pinch. Cheap book because I have got it, an Indian edition. It's about 75 rupees. You go to Flipkart and get the book and read it. It tells you so graphically how big a fraud Western science is. And the golem is not an English word, but is a Hebrew word. It's also a Malayali word, interestingly. Any Malayalis here? Golam alla male. Golam ennu paranja adalla. Golem. Golem is scarecrow. Pathingla? In the drashti poduvanga. But this is a scarecrow to frighten the colonies, to keep them under their control and make money at their expense. That's called the golem. So beautiful. Please read that book. If you want to know something more about how big a fraud science is, read the next book called Against Method. Against Method. Written by a professor of science philosophy in the Chicago University. His name is Paul Feyerabend. P-A-U-L, Feyerabend. F-E-Y-E-R-B-E-N-D. It's a fascinating book, but a little bigger book, and it takes a little more time, and maybe you must know a little bit of science to understand that book. But if you are an expert in science and still believe Western science is the be-all and end-all of human existence on this planet, I would like you to read this fascinating book called The New Paradigm. New Paradigm is a fantastic book. And when you read New Paradigm, you know how much of fraud is told to you even in school and college. You are told Einstein is a great brain, Newton is a great brain, they did this, they did that, all to catch you and me like fools and drag us by our nose. As Mark Twain rightly said, truth is bitter and only can influence half a score of men in a century, while falsehood and mystery will drag millions by the nose. Now you see, up until now, sitting here, you would have come with the idea that, oh, science and enna, konja science and chonna porom. You know, stand up and salute it. Scientifically tested is a very good medicine. Appadina, oh, done. You simply swallow it. It may be poison, but you swallow it all the same. FDA le pass panna, FDA. FDA enna? People piss in their trousers here when you mention FDA. But FDA is the biggest fraud organization. FDA is funded by the drug companies. The government has stopped funding FDA for so many years now. 90% of the funding comes from the funding agencies are the drug companies. And how can the FDA be against the drug companies? Actually now FDA is a rolling sort of a door for retired CEOs from companies to come and become directors. They are not bureaucrats, they are not scientists, no. They are CEOs, retired CEOs of drug companies. So everything is FDA. You know, yesterday, for example, they're showing US FDA cleared. You know, I was sitting there and just thinking. So it's, you know, I would be happy if they said, in India we are respected. I think I salute Aravind Institution because I have known Venkateswamy right from his, for the beginning of this institution. Fascinating man, remarkable man. I would say he was not a man, he was a God. And that's what he was. And that kind of people, I don't think they should get a certificate from US FDA. In my opinion, it is a degrading thing. And let's forget about it. So that is science. Okay? Now you know what it is. Naturally, in the 12th century, modern medicine, so-called modern medicine that we call now, what is modernity? We think modernity is something which must come from America, right? Yoga inge irundhathu. Yaru kekala. America koche. Anga oru package pannanga. If you go to America, there are so many yogas. Hot yoga, cold yoga, this yoga, that yoga, and all. And it comes back. Hey, yoga is good because it comes from America. Acupressure irundha Ayurvedale. Varmology innoru Siddhathil irukku. Same things. You just, and that went to China. With the Chinese scholars, it became acupuncture. And Chinese government sponsored it even after their independence in 1948. So today you can practice acupuncture in New York. You can't practice Ayurveda in New York. Because we are such wonderful leaders here who are all RNIs. RNIs, you know, resident non-Indians. All our leaders in the last 60 odd years were RNIs, resident non-Indians. They think with American brain or with the English brain. They're all gentlemen trained in, you know, they're Doon School, Eton, Harvard. India patti onnum theriyadu. They don't know what's poverty. I was seeing somebody today in the television in the afternoon when I was, poverty, poor people in Hindi enna cholra, garib. Garibon ko hum dekhna hai. Garibon ke liye jeena hai. This fellow's party 65 years was there and garib nothing has happened. Garibi hatao means remove the poor from this earth. That is called Garibi Hatao. And this is a kind of fraud on us in every field. So, Western medicine was practiced 5,000 years ago in the Nile Valley as sorcery, mumbo jumbo, and witchcraft, etc., etc. It started moving from Nile Valley. It went through Arabia. And in Arabia, there were thinkers, very good physicians like Ibn Sina. Ibn Sina, with the Americans call as Avicenna. He is not Avicenna, he is Ibn Sina. And Ibn Sina was a great thinker and he had changed so-called modern medicine drastically. Then it landed in Greece in the 400 BC. And that was the time Hippocrates lived there. And that was the time the Alexander's great army had come to India but didn't stay in India. They went back. Alexander died in Persia, but the army went with the books and the pandits from the 5 universities in India. And all these books really influenced the modern medical thinking in Greece. Hippocrates' treatise, if you read very carefully, it's just Charaka Samhita's translation. 3 humors, everything, dosha theory, everything is there. Even the pulse examination is there, how to examine the pulse with 3 fingers. Verbatim copy. Then it went to England, Europe, and in Europe it just moved around. And in the 12th century, suddenly Europe said all churches will become universities. all these Oxford, Cambridge, they're all churches. They become universities. And now, even now, the vice chancellor, chancellor, the same names we have, these are all church names, nothing to do with education. They're all ecumenical names. Even that ghost-like thing that you put on when you get your degree, I don't put it on. What is it called? Burqa. That burqa is also from the church. With the cap, and then you throw the cap up like that, and then drink wine and things like that. All this, we verbatim copy the West. But unfortunately, my sorrow is that we don't copy their good qualities. Except Suri, this is the only meeting I saw, 6:30 is 6:30. Otherwise, 6:30 meeting, I usually go at 6:15 because we had a very strict headmaster in school. If you are 1 minute late for class, you will have to go to the headmaster's room. And those days, it's real cruel. You have to keep your hand on his table like that. He had a cane, the bamboo cane. Adila or adikku kodupare. I tell you, I had this for 6 months scar, which was bleeding. And when you go home, you get more hitting there because he said, he went to the headmaster's room, that means you must have done something wrong. So that was that kind of thing. So then, you are so frightened that fear has gone in deep into me. So if somebody invites you at 6:30, if I am not there at 6:15, I get the same feeling that I had before going to the headmaster's room. So I always go. But my experience is, even the cleaners are not there by that time. Organizers come much later. And the important people come last. When all people have come, they will come there because they must all stand up. And if they are politicians, then it's finished. So now I have made a rule. I tell them, anybody invites me for anything, I said, is there a politician? I am not coming there. Why don't we learn at least some punctuality from them? I like their punctuality. I like their hard work. Here, people hardly work. This is the problem. Now come back to our science. So all the churches became universities, and they accepted medicine as science. Now see how medicine became science? The churches said, okay, medicine is science from now on. So at that time, we started riding piggyback on natural sciences, chemistry, physics, and biology. That is how our whole thing is based on reductionist science of chemistry, physics, and biology. What is reductionist science? Some of you non-scientists may not understand. I'll give you an example. When you have a cancer, let us say, somebody has a cancer, not you. Somebody has a cancer. What do? We take a bit of that cancer, okay, and then study it under the microscope. What do? We take the bit, and then, while taking itself, it's distorted. Then we squeeze it on the glass slide, then poison it with chemicals, and then dry it up and look under the microscope. The cells look horrible, really horrible. And what are we looking at? Dead cells from a few bit of tissues removed from either the breast or the stomach or wherever, or the gland, etc., etc. So beautifully described by a Nobel laureate biologist called Albert Szent-Györgyi as looking at the tombstones. Then we say, this is great so-and-so cancer, this is this man has only 6 months to live, etc., etc. One patient told me, sir, my doctor frightened me so much that I had only 6 months to live, but he has already died now. So I am happy that, I don't have to worry. I can live forever. No, you don't realize how bad they feel. You give a death warrant on a patient looking at a small bit and projecting out of the whole human body. I'll give an analogy. We are all sitting here now, let us say, a bird comes into this room. Okay, small bird comes. Now we want to know, why did this bird come from? Where did it come from? Why did it come here? Where is it going, etc. In reductionist science, what we do is catch hold of the bird, kill it, take a biopsy bit, and then study the cells under the microscope. That's exactly how we project cancer. Don't get worried when next time your relative or somebody is told it's a very advanced cancer, very bad, anaplastic. And I had a relative of mine, a cousin of mine, who is a retired IAS officer. Tall, very hefty, 6'2", and a very good specimen. One day he came to me, where he was 69. And he came and said, he has got a gland in the axilla. I touched the gland. I knew it was a cancer. It was like stone. But the man was so happy, very fine, absolutely nothing. So I told him, look, I'll have to find out what this is. I'll get a biopsy done. But since you're a very bold man, I'll tell you. Either you take my conventional treatment, I'll take you to the hospital and give it to a cancerologist. We will have 3 kinds. Your gland has to be removed, of course. But since it is a gland, then all the other glands will have to be removed. Since it is in the axilla, your chest has to be opened, all the glands removed. And maybe we will have to find out where it is from, for which we have to look for various other places. Then after all the surgery, if you survive, because you are almost 70 years and mortality is about 10%, if you survive, we will poison you with chemotherapy. Then you will lose your hair, you will not become a man, you will become a ghost. And then of course we will irradiate you and burn you completely with radiation. Despite all that, if you survive, it looks like a long life. If you don't do anything, because you are fine, you may have a long life yourself. Because I always follow William Osler, who in 1905 wrote, William Osler was a great teacher in America. He said, patient doing well, do not interfere. You know, beautiful idea. Patient doing well, do not interfere. I wrote an article a long time ago. Patient not doing well, do interfere. Many times what happens, I have done a bypass surgery, patient comes back and says, chest pain, adella sariyadum, bypass panniyachi, adella sariyadum. And I do nothing till he dies. Patient not doing well, interfere. Patient doing well, do not interfere. And you would be surprised. The man is alive now, he is 81 now, and do you know what he said? Before getting IAS, he was a history teacher in a college. So he said, I am a historian. All your medicine is false. I am going to do a PhD on that. I will start with Greece. He went to the islands of Kos in Greece, started there. And I got him registered in a university for a PhD. And he got his PhD at the age of 81 and came to Guinness Book of Records. And his now thesis is accepted all over the place. And he showed how big a fraud we are. So that is called reductionist science. So we are saying that bird, which is a cancer, where is it going? Where did it come from? You can't know by just taking a few cells. We have to do a lot of studies. That study is called holistic science. You are studying the whole. That's the difference. Did you understand now? That's all what I'm going to use in future. Okay. Now what is spirituality and health? What is health? Incidentally, what is health? What is your idea of health? Let us see. Another? Well-being. That is another English word for health. Health. Huh? Very good. Yarade? Alma Ata definition. 1947 Alma Ata definition, which was done for business, because Alma Ata definition is given with the idea that if you want to know you're healthy or not, you must go to a doctor. Right? உங்களுக்கு எப்படி தெரியும்? Physical, mental, psychological இல்ல. Doctor போகணும் இல்லையா? That is called disease mongering. And recently a medical student in America gave a shocking reply to his professor. She is a very thinking professor. She asked him, who is a patient? And the student shot back. A man or a woman who sees a doctor becomes a patient. புரிஞ்சுதா? இப்போ கனெக்ட் பண்ணுங்க health definition. Physical, mental, psychological, this, that, and all that. Environmental, spiritual, psychological, social, emotional, and what have you. Really, to attain that kind of health, Richard Smith, the former editor of British Medical Journal for 25 years, wrote an editorial. He said, this Alma Ata definition of health can be attained only under two circumstances. A, after death.